Buying a home can be a very scary process, and one of the biggest things holding people back is that they don't know exactly how much of a house can they afford. Well, today we're going to help you go through that calculation. All this and more coming right up. All right, everybody, what we're going to do right now is we are going to find out how much of a home can you qualify for if you were to buy a home today. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go to Zillow and you want to go to Zillow, how much house can I afford? And if you're too lazy to type all this out, go ahead and click on the link in the description down below. So by clicking on this link, you're going to be sent to this page, which is the affordability calculator. And it's a very simple tool, and I wish I had this back in the past. Basically, you're going to type in your annual income. This is your gross income before taxes. So for simplicity's sake, let's just say you make $120,000. And of course, if you're married or you plan on buying this house with another person, you can add both of your incomes together. So in this case, we'll type in $120,000. Your monthly debts are payments that you already owe before you buy this real estate. So if you have student loan debt or if you have credit card debt, these are the monthly payments. And if you have credit card debt, what you put on here are your minimum monthly payments if you have a balance. If you pay off your credit card every single month, then your monthly debt for this is zero. So car payments, student loan payments, and maybe you have another mortgage or other houses, then this number goes here. For now, we're gonna say you have zero. Down payment is pretty self-explanatory. How much money do you have to put down on this home? So let's just say you have $200,000 to put down on this home. Your debt to income ratio is how much debt divided by your total gross income you're gonna have. And a lot of these lenders have maximum debt to income ratios. So for a jumbo loan, which is what most houses here in the Bay Area go for, the debt to income ratio maximum is 43%. So we're gonna put 43% here. Obviously, the higher debt to income ratio you have, the more stretched your budget is gonna be. People prefer to stay on a lower range of a debt to income ratio, but when it comes down to how much can you actually afford, 43 is the maximum for jumbo loans. If you're doing an FHA loan, that number could increase to 49%, but for some reason, Zillow's calculator doesn't go higher than 43%. In your thumbnail here, it says that the typical DTI is 36%. Which is kind of low in my opinion, but it is what it is. Your interest rate varies from day to day, and your interest rate actually isn't even locked in until you are under contract and you talk to your lender. So the way we can find out the interest rates to at least get a good sense of what we're doing is to go on Wells Fargo's website. So what you can do is just type in Google Wells Fargo rates, and they'll show you what's going on now. So as of today, the 30-year fixed interest rate is at 3.125%, which is super, super low. So if you're interested in buying a property, now is an amazing time to buy a property because these loans are so low. So in this case, if we assume that we want to get a 30-year fixed rate, we would type in 3.125 into the Zillow calculator. Your loan term depends on what kind of loan you're getting. So in this case, we are getting a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. And so that's 360 payments. So you take in 30 years times 12 months, that's 360 payments. You want to include taxes and insurance in this because the lenders will look at that as well. Property tax in the Bay Area is about 1.2%. So it's about 1% for the state and then about 0.2% for the county and miscellaneous city fees. Home insurance is going to be probably around $800. I usually say it's about 1% of the purchase price of the home. So in this case, we're seeing around $960. Yeah, maybe insurance could be around $850 a year. You want to include PMI. In this case, because we have such a large down payment, we probably won't have PMI. PMI stands for private mortgage insurance, and it's what the lender will charge you if you have lower than a 20% down payment. And this is to protect the lender in case you default on your mortgage. HOA dues are also really important. So if you buy a single family home, there's typically no HOAs. But if you're buying like a brand new condo, then HOAs can go from between $400 to up to $1,000 a month. So in this example, let's assume that you're getting an HOA of about $450. So now you know that you can afford a house of $877,000, which is not a lot. And this could probably get you a smaller new construction build. But let's say you have no HOA dues, then you can afford up to $962,000, which is about average for Milpitas or South San Jose. Definitely not more expensive neighborhoods like Sunnyvale or Mountain View. And if we look at the payment, you can see how this all breaks down. You notice this payment is $4,300 a month. And that basically goes back to our debt to income ratio. Because the max is 43%, your annual income is $120,000. So that means your monthly income is going to be $10,000. So 43% of $10,000 is $4,300. And you can see how this payment stays the same no matter how you change these numbers. But based on your property taxes, home insurance, and HOA, your P&I changes. P&I stands for your principal and interest, which is your mortgage payment. So for example, if I type in my $450 for HOA dues again, you can see that the payment stays the same, but not because you have this 450 HOA, your P&I goes down. And because your P&I goes down, that means that the amount that you can borrow goes down, and therefore the amount you can afford also goes down. And if we look at the full report, you can see the breakdown here of what you can afford. So you see the same things here, monthly payments, breakdown, and the amortization schedule. So over the time, you can see that your remaining balance goes down, your interest is increasing. Obviously, as your remaining balance goes down, your principal goes up. So these are just like the inverse of each other. And your interest at first is really high, but then over time it tapers off because in the beginning you're paying a lot in interest, which is the green part, and then slowly over time you're paying more and more into principal because your payments are fixed. But in the beginning, most of it is interest, and later on, most of it is principal. And here's even a nice little table that shows you the breakdown of your principal and interest payments. And if you guys want to see a video of how you can pay off your mortgage faster and save tens of thousands of dollars with one simple trick, go ahead and check out the video up in the card above. So one more thing before we finish this video, I want to talk about your interest rate. How do you determine the right interest rate to put in here? Because it's not always the case for you. So one thing you need to ask yourself is, what are your goals for this property? Is this just a house that you're going to stay in for 5, 7 years? Or is this your forever home? Are you going to be in here for 30 plus years? Because as you can see here, back on the interest rates, if you get something that's not a 30-year fixed, the interest rate actually goes down. So if you only plan on staying in the house for 3, 5 years, and then plan on moving out either into another home or maybe out of the country, then it doesn't really make sense for you to get a 30-year fixed rate. Because you're paying like half a percentage point more than like a 5/1 ARM. So for example, if you're only going to stay in your home for 5 years, then you should probably get a 5/1 ARM instead of a 30-year fixed rate. And a 5/1 ARM is where your rate is fixed for 5 years, and then afterwards it can adjust. So let's say that interest rates blow up and all of a sudden they're 7%. Within the first 5 years, you're still only going to be paying this 2.6% anyway. And then if you're going to move, then you're going to have to get a new loan anyway. So it doesn't make sense to get a 30-year fixed rate. If you only plan on staying for 5 years, then use this number, 2.625. And let's see how this changes. Okay, not bad. You probably got about $40,000 more that you could buy because you're getting a lower interest rate. Now, the reason why they have these different loan terms is because sometimes people don't want a 30-year fixed rate. Maybe they want a 20 or a 15-year fixed rate. But the problem with 15-year fixed rate loans are that your monthly payments are actually higher because you're paying more principal down because you're paying it on an accelerated schedule. Right? You're paying down your loan at 15 years instead of 30 years and dragging it on. But let's see how it goes. So we have 2.5 for interest rate, and our loan term, instead of being 360, is only 180 because that's 15 years times 12 months. So it seems that we are able to afford even less of a home because your monthly mortgage payments are accelerated. Your principal and interest payments are a lot higher than if they were at the 30-year. And just to show you guys, we're going to switch the numbers back to their old rates. See, your principal and interest goes down quite a bit, and therefore your home prices can increase. So as you can see here, even just a couple $100s in debt can drastically reduce the amount you can buy. So let's say you have a car payment. Let's assume that you have no HOA dues in this case, and instead you have a monthly debt of $450 for your car payment. It's equivalent, right? Any debt that you have reduces the amount you can afford because your total monthly payments needs to be at 43% or below. So before buying a house, pay off your student loan debt, pay off your car, and get your debt to income ratio as low as possible so that you can maximize the amount that you can afford. And one more thing about the rates before we finish this video today. 30-year fixed rate and 5/1 ARMs on this top part are for conforming rates. So if your loan is above the conforming rate, then you're gonna have to use a jumbo loan. And in this case, the numbers are a little bit higher here, 3.25% versus the 3.125% for conforming loans. You can find this up by looking on Google, conforming loans in your state. It really depends per market. I think in the Bay Area, the numbers are around 760. So if your loan amount is above 760, then you are no longer in a conforming rate. You are now gonna have to get a jumbo loan. Well, I hope you guys all found this video informative. If you guys enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to see more videos just like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.